Hey everybody, Coffee with Karen. How you doing today? Click. This is a new mug I got. Isn't it cute? Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I got two of them. Hello everybody. Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. I hope you're doing well. And this is a little later in the day, so we just got back yesterday from my mother-in-law's funeral. So it was a hard weekend. So hard to say goodbye. But now we're just trying to, get back into the groove of things. So it's a little late this morning. But I was watching Ezra Klein. Have you guys ever heard of Ezra? He's a columnist. That's what he calls himself. And I really enjoy listening to him. He's very calm and extremely factual. Okay. So I wanted to talk today about what he talked about in that video and what we can do over the next 3 weeks regarding the vote, the bill that's coming up, because basically the government's going to be running out of funding, okay? Unless they pass the bill again, they pass more funding. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Ezra was talking about. And I encourage you to actually watch his video. I will post it in the description below. This is a pretty serious time when it comes to whether or not the Democrats are actually going to do something about this authoritarian takeover. Okay. And Ezra is really good. And I'm going to go through actually what he talked about. Okay. So if you don't want to watch him, that's fine. But if you don't watch him, if you could give him at least put the video on, give him some watch hours, give him a thumbs up, even subscribe to his channel so that that video could move, that would be very helpful because we need as many people to see that as possible. And frankly, as many people to see this video as possible, because we're going to talk about what we could be doing over the next 3 weeks to make sure that our Democratic leaders know how we feel, okay? This is a pretty serious time, and I mean, I'm not fear-mongering, but this right now is a time where let's get back organized a little bit, okay? I'm sure there's other people who are organizing, I'm sure. I mean, I'm just this little tiny. But for our community, I thought, this is something we could do within our community here. And so, the more thumbs up you give this video, and I'm not trying to make money on this. You're going to get some ads, obviously, but that's not why I'm asking for the thumbs up. I really want all of us to be much more aware, even if it's just watching Ezra's video. That's actually more important. But I want us to be as aware as possible going into the next 3 weeks, okay? So let's talk a little bit about what he talked about, okay? And so I have a little bit of a script. I'm going to be reading through some things, and then we'll stop and talk about it. I do have, so we're going to talk about the facts. I do have the SGs here. So I will be checking in with the spirit guides throughout this conversation, but I do have a list of questions to ask them at the end of this conversation, okay? But if I feel like, we should, as I'm going through the facts, if I feel like that's something we need to ask them, I will. So I have facts to share, a little bit of a timeline, just to kind of to remind us what the last 9 months, what was happening with this funding, with, and what they need to be thinking about going forward in the next 3 weeks, okay? What Democrats could be demanding, which is important for us to talk about because that will prepare you for what you want to discuss when you call your Democratic offices, okay? And then what we can do now, I've got 2 things we could be doing now in more detail, and then spirit guide questions, okay? What I'm going to do, because I think this has been helpful for some, if you sign up for the newsletter, I will send this transcript that I'm talking about here, which also gives you like what to say to your senators, and how to, basically the 2 things we're going to be talking about are calling your senators daily, and then a list of things you could be talking to them about, and then backing what's called watchdog groups. Okay. And I have a list of watchdog groups that you could look into to see if those are ones you wanted, if there's one you wanted to support in what mattered to you. Okay. So I will send, again, sign up for the newsletter. I'm frequently now going to be sending transcripts of things that I'm talking about here to the newsletter so that you can, like when I do an energy update, okay, I'm sending those out on newsletter now. So you might get 2 or 3 emails a week, but you can pick and choose, like, well, I'm interested in what Karen's talking about here, but not here, so just don't open that newsletter. You know what I mean? So like I said, I will send this whole transcript out on the newsletter. This one will be rather brief, in case you want it. Okay. So just make sure you sign up and stay signed up for the free newsletter if you want this kind of information. Okay. So let's see. So a little bit of an overview. Again, this is coming from Ezra's. This is like abbreviated information, what Ezra talked about. That's why I really want you to watch his stuff. Okay, so in about 3 weeks, so today is September 8th that I'm recording this, government funding runs out. Democrats will have to decide whether to join Republicans in funding a government that Donald Trump is openly using to consolidate authoritarian control. That's coming from Ezra again. So he is the journalist. He's the columnist. He's the one doing all this research, and this is the language he's using. Okay? So this is not hyperbole, or this is not, this is factual at this point. So, and I am saying, I do need to say this is for entertainment purposes only, and allegedly because I didn't do the research myself, so I'm trusting that Ezra did the research. Okay? And I do trust him. So until I have a reason not to, I do trust his podcast, and he's quite amazing in my opinion. Okay, so like I said, Democrats will have to decide whether to join Republicans in funding a government that Trump is openly using to consolidate authoritarian control, or to say no unless funding is tied to clear conditions that protect the rule of law. So that's basically what we're going to be doing for those who are interested. We're going to be calling our senators asking for clear conditions. Do not capitulate unless you have clear conditions. Okay. They actually, and I'm going to go through the facts, like they actually need 7, at least they need Democrats to pass. So we're going to go over what happened 6 months ago. Okay. So this isn't just about keeping the lights on. It's about whether Congress funds basic services for the people with oversight, or funds Trump's retaliation machine with no strings attached, because he has been doing that. He is going after political leaders. Some of them you might be listening to. He's been going after them. He's sending the FBI into them, and even to their homes. Even Ezra says that they're not really finding things, but if you dig long enough, you can find a mistake somebody made, right? Well, that's what they're doing. And they're doing it to the people who are talking out against them. That's what authoritarians do. That's exactly what they do. So, okay. So facts to share. 6 months ago, Senate Democrats had this choice to fund the big, beautiful bill. Remember that? Can you believe that was 6 months ago? Oh my gosh. I mean, what the hell? It's going so fast. It's going so fast, but yet so slow. It's like, I can't believe that was 6 months ago. That's crazy. Most went along with funding, and many in their base felt betrayed, right? Do you guys remember how you felt the day that they went along with the big, beautiful bill? Until I kind of understood what Chuck Schumer was doing. He's the one, my understanding, according to Ezra, is he's the one who kind of went out. He decided he was going to say yes to funding the bill, and then went out and found 7 others or 6 others who were going to. So Now, until I understood why he did that, and I get it, actually, Ezra explains it. I get why he did that at that time, but now is different. It's different now. So I have no idea. Does anyone know? Do you know where they sit right now? What Chuck Schumer is thinking about? I have no idea. So that's why I wanted to kind of bring this to your attention. I'm going to start paying attention to it. If you know what's going on beyond what I'm talking about, it'd be great if you left comments for other people to read about, okay? Or if you have other sources or whatever, okay? Okay, so again, 6 months ago, at that time, leaders argued courts were checking Trump, a shutdown would empower him, and markets were fragile. Okay, so that's what Schumer's, in a nutshell, basically. Ezra goes into it in much more detail, but that's basically Chuck Schumer's, what he was concerned about is that a shutdown would actually empower him and give him more power to decide how to use funds at that time. Okay. So there was some reasoning to the madness at that time. Okay. So, which I think is great. I think that's pretty amazing, actually, that Chuck, besides his we will win, which Ezra shows an image of them doing that. And it's like, oh my God, it's just not very powerful. But Chuck did know what he was doing with regards to not giving him a lot of power at that time. But this is different now. 3 weeks is different now. Okay. But now the Supreme Court has handed Trump expanded powers, refusing to spend money, firing protected officials, and reshaping agencies at will. And the Supreme Court has given him more wins than I think that I've heard that he's gotten. He has gotten more wins than maybe we've been told about, or at least it's been discussed. Okay. Maybe I just didn't know. Okay. Since then, we've seen firings of watchdogs, masked ICE raids, National Guard deployments in cities, retaliation against critics, and the Trump family profiting through foreign investments and a crypto scheme. This isn't what could happen, it's happening now. And that's what Ezra says. It's not what could happen, it's happening now. 6 months ago, we could say this is what could happen. We can't say that anymore. This is what's happening. So I don't want to be in denial about this. Because if I didn't at least have this discussion with you and get people to think about it, I would have felt like I lost the opportunity. You know what I mean? So now you get to decide, are you going to be in denial about it, or are you going to at least make a few phone calls, to whatever's important to you? Okay. And I'm not telling you what should be important to you. I just want to make sure you have the information. Okay. So the timeline real quick. So in March, Democrats funded the government despite pressure to fight back. Over the past 6 months, Trump consolidated control. Courts shifted in his favor. So that's the part that until I listened to Ezra, was not quite certain about. I thought he actually was losing in a lot of the courts. Well, he was, but not in the Supreme Court. So apparently he's gotten quite a few wins with the Supreme Court that is not helpful for us not being taken over by authoritarians. Okay. So today, funding deadline looms again. Republicans need Democratic votes. All right. That's happening in 3 weeks. The choice ahead is Democrats can demand funding with conditions or risk complicity by writing a blank check. So if they just pass it without conditions, then I think we have to get prepared for living in an authoritarian society. Is kind of how I'm feeling. Let me know how you're feeling. I could be wrong about that. Entertainment purposes only. We're just processing what's going on. But it seems to me that the next 3 weeks are pretty crucial. And hopefully there are conditions. Otherwise, we're going to be having very different conversations in 3 weeks about how to deal with living in an authoritarian society, Okay, because I'm not, this whole waiting 14 months until the next election. No, it ain't gonna happen. I don't personally see how our being able to vote in 14 months is gonna make any difference if they just let them continue doing what they're doing. Why even, I mean, at that point, it's just going to be smoke and mirrors, you know? They're going to tell us our votes count. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter at that point. I mean, I hate to be a doomsdayer, but I'm not trying to be at all. I'm just trying to be realistic at this point of what the heck is going on. Now, coming back to the spiritual side of things, you know, Sterling, who is somebody that a lot of us listen to on the medium side of things, it's sounding pretty positive that we're still going to see Trump kind of get the rug pulled out from under him. And like soon, Sterling is talking soon. So now he's not always right about everything. I mean, his guides tell him things for a reason to help us, whatever. So I am hoping they're right about this. So we've got that. So on the spiritual side of things, I'm quite hopeful still. Okay. And, you know, my guides continue to say the same kind of thing, which I will do a video this week asking for new messages, political messages from the pendulum, and we'll see where they're at. Okay. So we've got that. But in the meantime, we've got to do some things, I think, to help this little thing along. Not the little thing, that was wrong choice of words, but to help this movement along, okay, with the Democrats. Okay. So what Democrats could demand is, let's see, these are the exact types of writers Congress uses every day. So they use this kind of language. Okay. So this is the kind of stuff we could be asking our so I'm going to call Tammy Baldwin in Wisconsin. Okay. Because she's my rep. I'm going to call her every day and leave a message. I'll probably actually there's 5 different things, and I'll probably actually mention one a day. I'll just rotate them. And so you could do the same thing, you know. Okay, so these are the ideas that we could be demanding and making sure that our representatives are demanding these things. Tammy's not the only one. We have a rep too. Anyways, I'm going to call them all. Okay, I'm just going to spend 15 minutes a day calling and using this language. Okay. And again, I will send this out on email so you don't have to, I'll probably send this, I'll schedule. So this is going out on the 8th of September. I'll schedule this email to go out at 6 a.m. on the 9th. So it gives whenever you're listening to this, if you sign up after 6 a.m. on the 9th of September, you'll be too late on this email, but you'll get future ones. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So the first thing we could be demanding, Democrats, is to ban secret police tactics. None of the funds may be used to deploy federal agents without identification or warrants. I mean, what a concept, right? Oh, follow the Constitution. I mean, this is some serious stuff, you know. Protect independent oversight. Funds are withheld unless inspector generals are in place and protected from retaliation. So that should be a condition. Stop self-dealing should be the condition. I mean, it's ridiculous how much money. He has made double his money since he's been in office in the 9 months. Ezra said that. He is now worth $5 billion, which has doubled. That has doubled. So he was 2.5 billion or whatever, which I'm surprised about, but prior to 9 months ago. That's unbelievable. So stop self-dealing. No funds may be obligated in any way that financially benefits businesses owned by the president or immediate family. Safeguard DOJ independence. This is another condition. Funds are conditioned on public reporting of political interference in prosecutions. Let me read that again. Funds are conditioned on public reporting of political interference in prosecutions. So safeguarding the DOJ independence, and limit domestic military use. No funds may support National Guard deployments in cities without state consent, which is in the Constitution. Okay, so those are 5. There might be others. So if you have other ideas that that the Democrats should be demanding, put them in the comments below so other people could read them and consider them. So you could, again, I'm going to just use all 5 of these and rotate them as I call. Okay, so what you can be doing now is calling your senators daily, okay? This is the most powerful pressure point right now. Congressional offices track call volume every day. Did you know that? Every single day. I didn't realize that, but now I do, okay? When phones light up with the same demand, leadership notices. Here's a simple script anyone can use. Again, this will come out on email tomorrow. Hi, I'm a constituent. I want you to fund essential services with conditions that protect the rule of law and appropriations writers that's just the language they use. Prohibit masked federal agents without identification, protect inspector generals and career prosecutors from retaliation, and ban government funds from enriching the president's businesses or family. Be polite, be direct, and repeat the call every day until the vote. Encourage your friends and families to do the same. Offices don't need thousands of unique arguments. They need volume and consistency. So frankly, I'm just going to use that script. I'll just use that script. And you can do the same thing. Isn't that amazing? Like, they don't need unique arguments. They need volume and consistency. Okay? All right. So the second thing you can do, the other thing you can do is back watchdog groups. Okay? We've got a specific list of ideas that you can look into. We also need a strong outside presence to track violations and hold officials accountable. Watchdog groups gather data, file lawsuits, and push the media to pay attention. Without them, authoritarian actions slip under the radar. Here are trusted groups your audience, my audience, you guys, can check out, okay? Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. It's called CREW, C-R-E-W. Sues over corruption and misuse of office. There's an organization called American Oversight, specializes in FOIA lawsuits to force government transparency. There's Project on Government Oversight, POGO, tracks whistleblowers, Pentagon waste, and government accountability. This is really interesting because I might actually, one of the things you guys can do with at least ChatGPT is you can ask for a daily report on, like, say there's one of these organizations you want to track. You can ask ChatGPT to send you a notification with any new updates from any of these organizations that they were interested. It's very helpful. So like I'm tracking something with TSA. So my husband works for TSA. So we've got like a notification coming to us on a daily basis to see if there's any changes. So you can do that. It's actually quite helpful. So there's Government Accountability Project called GAP, G-A-P, protects whistleblowers who expose abuse of power. Common Cause is advocates for fair elections and democracy reform. Protect Democracy is a bipartisan group using legal tools against authoritarian threats. ACLU fights government overreach, especially around civil liberties and surveillance. Brennan Center for Justice. Brennan Center for Justice focuses on voting rights, campaign finance, and checks on executive power. So ways that you can support those organizations is donating a monthly, even small amount, $5 a month, to sustain their legal work. Share their reports widely, so this way if you ask ChatGPT or AI to send you updates, you could get the reports with not having to go in and look for them all the time, okay? So you could share their reports widely. When watchdog findings circulate, journalists follow. And volunteer. Many groups need researchers, writers, or people to file FOIAs, which is what? FOIAs. I don't know what that is. Specializes in FOIA lawsuits, whatever that is. Okay. All right. So backing watchdog groups is how we can extend our impact beyond the calls. It's how we keep an eye on the system 24/7. Okay. So those are the only two things I'm going to talk about. If there are other things that you think are helpful for people to be doing right now and you want to offer those suggestions in the comments, that would be amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what questions. Now, these questions were generated by Mabel, so not from the community. We are kind of doing a little bit of both. I didn't have time to throw these questions out to the community. So if you have additional questions, though, you can always go ahead and put them in the comments. And if there's enough interest in this topic, we'll pull them and we can do a part 2. Okay. All right, I might have to back you up here a little bit without making you fall off the basket. You're sitting on a basket. Okay. Okay, are we ready? All right, let me say a little prayer, but let me do a little quick intro because I might post this separately, just the spirit guide questions. So thank you for joining me for the overview of basically kind of what we need to be doing over the next 3 weeks. So let me know if this was helpful for you guys, okay? So hello, thank you for joining me. This is Karen with Ask the Spirit Guides, and we have 20 questions here that I'm going to ask regarding the funding of the government that's coming up in 3 weeks from now, and the role we can play in making sure that Democrats are fighting against authoritarianism. And I don't really like using the word fighting, but that's the only word I got right now. So we're gonna, if you want to see the overview of the whole thing of what I'm talking about here, I did an intro on this. This is just a separate part of that video. I did the coffee with Karen part basically, and I will go ahead and post at the end of this video if you want to watch the full length video, so you know what, the ideas that we could be, I give some tips on things that we could be doing over the next 3 weeks in that full length video. So join me there if you want to. Okay, so let's go ahead and say the prayer. All right, so I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides, guardians, the lead team collective, and only those of the highest and purest light. And ask Archangel Michael to please protect my channel, your channel, our community, the lead team collective, so it is only of the highest and purest light. Amen. Okay. All right. So these questions are, so we've got 20 questions just designed to reveal just a deeper truth about what is going on right now over the next 3 weeks, and whether or not the things we do will make a difference or not, because then we'll know, like, should we put our energy into it, So let's see what the lead team collective has to say. So lead team, hello. I haven't talked to them today yet, so thank you to my guides. I really appreciate your guidance and support, and same to the lead team. Thank you for being here. We've got 20 questions in front of us regarding Democrats and the authoritarian takeover, basically, that the Trump administration is trying to do. Is there any questions in front of me that are not in our best interest to know? No? Okay. All right. Well, as always, if there's anything that's not helpful for us, just, refrain from answering, obviously. Yes. Okay. And if you guys could show your appreciation, those out there, hello, you. Sometimes it's hard to know. I'm like, do they know I'm talking to you or I'm talking to the SGs? So if you can send your appreciation to the lead teams as well as your own team, if you haven't thanked them today, show a little appreciation. They definitely, I think, appreciate that. So, okay, lead team, let's get started. So number 1, will Senate Democrats seriously consider adding funding conditions this time around with the funding of the government? Yes, they will. Okay. Are they actually going to fund the government? Come with the conditions, will it actually pass? No. Okay. So are we going to see a government shutdown come October 1st? I think it's October 1st. Oh, we are going to. Okay. Entertainment purposes only and allegedly. Okay. So is Chuck Schumer likely to back away from unconditional funding? Yes. Okay. Thank goodness. Well, let me ask you the reverse. Is Chuck Schumer going to back away from conditional funding? No. Okay, good, you guys. But we still need to, is it important for us to be contacting our Democratic leaders to make sure we are going to support them in this, but by putting conditions on the funding? Yes. Okay. If none of us make calls, will there still be unconditional funding? Yes. Okay, good. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, actually, I said that the wrong way. So they said yes, though. Okay. If we don't make calls, will there be conditional funding regardless? No. Okay, so we need to get our butts in gear, you guys. Not just us, but hopefully we need to get, they're saying no. So they need to know that we're serious about this. Okay. Are there at least 3 to 4 Senate Democrats ready to hold the line publicly? Yes. Okay. Are there any Republicans that are ready to hold the line to authoritarian publicly? Yes. Okay. Well, we'll see. Will public pressure from calls genuinely shift at least one swing senator's vote? Yes. You guys, I'm sorry about that. They're cutting the trees down. Is that too loud? I was trying to get my husband out of the house because I'm like, can you skedaddle? Because they were taking a break from cutting the trees. Is that too loud? Well, I'm going to keep going, you guys, because I kind of want to get this published, okay? Sorry. So just try to ignore it, okay? I hope it's not too loud. Okay. Are Republicans secretly counting on Democrats to fold again? Yes. Ugh. Okay. Have the Democrats been doing anything? The Democratic Party, have they actually been coming up with a good strategic plan over the last 6 months? Yes. Okay. Because Ezra's not too sure. I don't think he has any proof at this point. If you're wondering who I'm talking about, Ezra, it's part of the intro that I gave to these questions, okay? You'll have to go Ezra Klein, watch his video below if you don't want to watch my whole intro. Worth watching, okay? All right. Has the Supreme Court already greenlit more executive power than most people realize? Yes. This is why this is serious, you guys. We've got to get making phone calls and just get spreading the word to those who around you that are willing to listen to you. At this point, I don't talk to people who are just not interested. I mean, I don't talk to people about this who are not interested. I'm just tired of batting, feeling like I'm bugging them, but find the people who are still willing to hear you and are willing to make the phone calls. We just need to encourage them to do it because maybe they haven't thought about it for a while, and that's okay. But we need to get out there, just encouraging people who are, open to doing it. Okay. All right. And you could send them this video if you wanted to, if that's helpful. You do, whatever is helpful. All right. Or send them Ezra's video. Okay. I don't think Ezra talks about making phone calls, though. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't remember if he does. Is Trump actively directing the use of masked agents as a show of force? Yes. Okay. Is foreign money still flowing into Trump family businesses right now? Yes. Entertainment purposes only, allegedly. Are intelligence or defense officials inside the system quietly resisting? Oh, thank goodness. Yes. Okay, that's good to know. Is there risk that Democrats framing this around healthcare costs and corruption would break through more than democracy versus authoritarianism? Yes. So what that tells me is when we make phone calls, we don't really want to focus necessarily on democracy versus authoritarianism. We want to focus on the corruption and, I think the authoritarianism, letting them know that we're quite aware that this is happening right now, you know. But yeah, I think that's fine. I probably will. Okay. Would a government shutdown without clear messaging backfire politically on the Democrats? Yes, it will. So the Democrats need clear messaging. Okay, so would a government shutdown with clear messaging backfire politically on the Democrats? No. So Ezra talks about that if they do the government shutdown, but they don't have clear messaging about it, then they're going to lose the opportunity for how much power that could bring. So let's hope that they do have clear messaging. So is it likely that the Democratic Party right now is ready with clear messaging for a government shutdown? Oh, thank goodness. Yes. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. But it still requires our phone calls. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. I'm actually going to send my representatives on email. I'm going to call and I'm going to email. And I'm going to send them Ezra's video. I think it's fine to do that. Their aides might watch it. Okay. So that's another thing you could do to get Ezra's video moving. Okay. It's just the more people see his video, the more people will be paying attention. There's like 327,000 views on it now, but there should be a lot more. Okay. If we really want. So that's another thing you can do. We talked about in my intro. That's another thing you can do is send his video out. Okay. Or give a like to it, turn it on, even if you're not going to listen to it, and just let it run. You know, hit on ads on it. That will help too, because the more money YouTube makes, that's just the way it is. The more money YouTube makes, the more the videos go out there. Okay. All right. Is there a real chance of stage provocations, if Guard or ICE, National Guard or ICE actions are challenged? I'm not really sure what that question means. Yes. Okay. Hopefully you know what that means. Do pro-democracy groups already have a hidden coordinated plan they're waiting to deploy? Yes. Oh, well, that's good to know. Are media outlets deliberately downplaying the scale of authoritarian moves? I think we know the answer to this. I'm rolling my eyes. Yes. Okay. Just confirming though. Could focusing demands narrowly on oversight protections gain bipartisan support? Yes. So could focusing demands narrowly on oversight protections gain? So, okay, yes. Okay. Is the Democratic National Committee's fundraising crisis weakening their leverage? Yes. Okay. So Ezra said that the Democratic National Committee right now has $15 million. Nobody's making donations to them because people are mad because they don't have strong messaging. And the political Republican Party has 80 million. Not good. Not good. I'm not donating to them unless I know that they're actually going to be doing something, but that's not good. So, yeah. Okay. It's kind of a catch-22, isn't it? Would visible international pushback, allies speaking out, slow Trump's consolidation? No. Okay. Is there a risk that watchdog groups themselves will face retaliation campaigns? Probably. Yep. Okay. Could focusing activism on a handful of swing states be the tipping point? Yes. Okay. So phone calls. You can make phone calls, I believe. Can somebody please confirm this for me? You can make phone calls to the Democratic leaders in swing states, even if you're not a constituent, I believe. Can somebody confirm that for me? The only thing you can't do is fill out a form on their website, because they'll ask where do you live? You know what I mean? To send email messages to them, basically. So, but you could email, but if you want to, usually filling the form out, like if I go to Tammy Baldwin's website and she has a form, they'll ask, where do you live? And it's usually has to be within their state. So, but you can call. I don't see how that doesn't make an impact. Let me know, you guys, what you think about that, okay? Because then we could just focus on the swing states, right? Okay, are we meant to keep pressure consistent for all 3 weeks until the deadline for maximum effect? Yes. Okay, so it will make a difference if, like, let's just say 5,000 of us in this community decide we're going to call every day. Will that make a difference, do you think? Yes, it will. Okay. Because at least that's 5,000 more. Who knows how many other communities are talking about the same thing right now. So we can just be joining them, right? Yes. Okay. All right, you guys, let me know what you think. This is kind of serious stuff right now, and we just want to stay active. We were very active right after the inauguration for 3 or 4 months. I think it's calmed down a little bit. And I'm afraid, I'm really trying not to let my mindset be used to, because that's what they want. Like now I'm getting, are we getting used to him going into blue cities and just being like, well, what are you going to do about it? We can't get to that point, because then we're just settling, basically. So that's my opinion only. All right, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.